Hi, today's lesson is on Suzanne by Leonard Cohen. Right, there's a few sections to this song. There's an intro, a verse, a pre-chorus, a chorus and a bridge, and each of these sections is not necessarily the same each time in the song, so I'm going to just go through it bit by bit from the start of the song. Right, so the intro is 4 bars long. The way I'm counting it, for this lesson is this kind of tempo: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Like this is 1, 2, 3, 4. That kind of rhythm. And when you count it like that, I think it's the easiest way to learn the song, but there are other ways you could do it. It means that this intro, the first 3 bars are 6/4, which means you've got 6 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. But the last bar's only got 4 beats. So that makes it a bit complicated. The intro is possibly the hardest part of the song. So what we've got to do is hold down an E chord, standard open E chord. So we've got open 6th, then 2, 2, 1, open, open. And we've got to do this pattern with the right hand. Play the 6th with your thumb and the 2nd string with your 3rd finger. Play those together. And then 1st finger on the 4th string, 2nd finger on the 3rd string, back to 4th string again. So that's the first part. And then you play the 6 again on its own, followed by the 4th. So that's. And then this next part, we'll play the 5th string with your thumb and 3rd string with the 2nd finger, still just keeping the E chord. And then after that, play the 4th string on its own. And then you notice I played the 4th string with my 1st finger. So far we've got. And then that last little part, where you played the 5th and the 3rd together, you do that again, but your little finger on the left hand adds on to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and you play the same 2 strings again, 3rd and 5th, followed by the 4th on its own. Then you take the little finger away, play the 3rd and 5th again, followed by the 4th on its own. So that last part of this bar is. If I put that together with the first part, very slowly, this is the whole bar. That's the first bar, and the next 2 bars are the same, so you play that 3 times in total. I'll just do it up to speed. Then the 4th bar of the intro is just in 4/4 time, so it's a shorter pattern this time, and it's very similar to what we've just done. What we've got to do is play the 6th and the 2nd, just like we did before. Then play 4, 3, 4, 6, 4, 3, 4. So that bar is. So I'm just going to demonstrate the whole intro quite slowly. Okay, on to the verse. Now for this we're staying in 4/4, so remember the last bar of the intro. The verse is kind of very similar to that, it's the same timing. And actually the first bar of the verse is the same as the last bar of the intro. So just to remind you, that was this. In the second bar of the verse, what we do is the added little finger thing again. So adding the little finger onto the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. This happens a lot in this song. So we add that on, play 3rd string, then 4th string, Take the little finger away and play those 2 strings again. And then play 6, 4, 3, 4. So that bar was. So I'm just going to play those 2 bars together. And then you repeat those 2 bars. So if I just play the first 4 bars of the verse now up to speed. Then we go to an F sharp minor. Now you may know F sharp minor as this, bar chord, 2nd fret. That's the right shape for this song, but you really need to use these 2 fingers rather than those 2. So it's a bit of a stretch. So barring all the way across 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the 5th string 4th fret, 3rd finger on the 4th string 4th fret. So it's exactly the same chord as the standard one, but just different fingers. Now what we do with the right hand is exactly the same for a 2-bar phrase, exactly the same thing we've just done twice for the E. So to remind you, we just played this. That was a 2-bar phrase that was repeated. On the F sharp minor, you play that twice as well. And the added note, just like we added this note with the little finger, we do that on the F sharp minor, 4th fret this time. I'll just play it. It's quite easy once you can do the E one. It's quite easy to suss this one out. I'll just play it slowly so you can see it. So this hand's doing exactly the same thing, and that hand is doing a very similar thing. It's just adding the little finger at the same point from the initial chord, whether it's E or F sharp minor. So that was E for 2 bars, the 2-bar pattern, repeated, then F sharp minor for 2 bars, the pattern, repeated. So let's play all of that up to speed. Okay, and then you do the E pattern again, the 2-bar phrase, twice more. And then we go to G sharp minor. Well, G sharp minor is the F sharp minor along 2 frets. Same fingers, same shape. So it's bar and 4th fret with these 2 at 6. And the pattern we do is exactly the same thing we did on the F sharp minor. The only difference with that chord is we only play the pattern once, so it's just 2 bars. And remember, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how I'm counting it. It's an odd way to count it, but I think it's the easiest way to learn the song. Right, so up to that point we've got 2 bars of E, or one of the E patterns, which is 2 bars long. Then again, then F sharp minor, and again, then the E, and again, then the G sharp minor, but just 1 pattern on the G sharp minor. Right, so then we go to an A chord. Now the A chord, Leonard Cohen just uses a open A. He doesn't go to a bar chord, which you might expect after doing this. You might expect a bar chord, which is what I initially thought it was, but I don't think it is now. It's an A open chord. You probably know that one. So it's open 5th, and then 2, 2, 2, open 1st. I'm not using this string. Pattern here, slightly different. What we've got to do is play the 5th and the 1st together. 3rd string with your 1st finger, 2nd string with 2nd finger, back to the 3rd string. So that was, and then 5th, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd again. So that's, it's actually very similar to what we've been doing on the other chords, but just different strings. And then we add the little finger onto the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and play the 2nd string and the 3rd. Then take the little finger away and play those 2 strings again. And then take your 3rd finger away and play the open 2nd string. Keep the others there. Put your 3rd finger back again, and play that string again. So those 2 bars on the A are. Now, occasionally, if you want to be very, very exact with this, occasionally on the original recording, I think when he plays that last note, I think he's hitting a bass note. So that'd be this. But it's very faint, and he definitely doesn't do it every time. If I was playing the song, I probably would miss that out. Okay, now at that point we go back to the E pattern we've been doing once more, so that's 2 bars but 1 pattern. F sharp minor again, 2 bars, 1 pattern. E again, 2 bars. F sharp minor, 2 bars. So in terms of the order of chords, we've got E, F sharp minor, E, G sharp minor, A, E, F sharp minor, E, F sharp minor. So it's like that. So now I'm going to slowly play through the whole verse. Right, the first pre-chorus, slightly different to the other pre-choruses, but what happens on this first one is it's 3 bars long. First 2 bars are exactly like the pattern we've been playing on the E in the verse. So that's this. Then there's a bar that's technically 5/4, the way we're counting these bars. I wouldn't really worry too much about the fact that it's 5 beats, just try to learn the pattern. It's quite a strange one, this. I'll just play it really slowly. And that's the pre-chorus, so I'll just play the whole pre-chorus, 3 bars, nice and slowly. Right, now we're into the chorus. Now the first chorus, what happens is it goes to a G sharp minor, which is that chord we did earlier in the verse. Same pattern as before. So it's 2 bars long, and we go just like before. Then we go to an A chord and do the same thing we did in the verse. Then the E chord, 2 bars, same pattern we did in the verse. F sharp minor, 2 bars, same pattern as the verse. So I'm just going to play that whole chorus for you. Okay, the first bridge, which is the bit that comes after the chorus, it's just like the intro. So if you remember the intro, we had the 3 bars of 6/4 and then the 1 bar of 4/4. It's just like that, except there's only 2 bars of 6/4. So if you've mastered the intro, you'll be able to do this bridge easily. I'm just going to demonstrate it. Then there's another verse. Now the verse is exactly the same as the first verse, so that's easy. Right, the second pre-chorus is very different to the first pre-chorus, but it's almost identical to the first bridge that we did a minute ago. Now the bridge was this. Right, the only difference is on the last bar, the 4/4 bar that goes, there's an extra second string note that he plays, like this. Like that. So the whole of the pre-chorus number 2 is this. Then you repeat the chorus and repeat the bridge, the same as we did before. Now the next verse, it's almost identical to the other 2 verses we've had. There is a tiny difference. Now remember, I'm going off of the original studio recording that he did. I'm trying to do this absolutely note for note. If I was playing this song somewhere, I probably wouldn't worry about these tiny details, but just so that you know you're playing it exactly, or you're learning it exactly like the original. So the difference here in this verse is exactly the same, but when you go to the G sharp minor, which before was this, there's one extra note on the second string. So if I just demonstrate the 2 bars of G sharp minor in this particular verse. And that's the only difference. The next pre-chorus, the third pre-chorus, is another tiny difference from the first pre-chorus. The second pre-chorus was quite different, but the first one and the third one are almost identical. The difference is, it's like with a lot of these tiny differences, he just catches the second string again at one point where he didn't the first time. The easiest way to show you that is probably for me just demo it. If I just play the third pre-chorus really slowly for you. So there were 3 bars there, and it was just in that second bar, it went like this. Here. Instead of just doing that, it was a tiny difference. Then we repeat the chorus. The chorus is exactly the same as before. Okay, then the end section, it's just 3 bars really. Well, technically it's kind of 2 bars plus an extra note on the end. Quite simple. It's in 6/4, just like the intro was. It's very similar to the intro, but there's less bass notes. It's quite an easy pattern. It's basically this on the E chord. We go. So that was what we did for the first bar of the intro, but without the thumb coming across and playing the extra bass notes. So in the intro it was, but in this end section it's. Okay, so we do that for the first bar. The second bar, similar. I'll just show you very slowly what it is. So the only difference really was that this little finger stayed on once it went on. So I'll just put those 2 bars together slowly. And on the very end you take the little finger away and play the 3rd string and the 6th string together. So the whole ending up to speed. And that's it. So yeah, excellent song obviously, you know that. Sounds nice on the nylon string, that's why I'm using this one, because that's what he played it on. But it also sounds really good on a steel string acoustic. You could play it on an electric, it would sound nice. But it obviously sounds most like the song if you play it on a nylon string if you've got one. So yeah, not too hard. I think if you want to play it absolutely perfectly note for note to the original studio version, then that's what I've just been showing you. And it's a little bit fiddly because there's so many subtle little changes, but you know, if you get the gist of it and the basic kind of 3 or 4 patterns that are in it, then I think that's probably enough. Any questions, please put them in the comments, and suggest any other songs you want to see lessons on, and subscribe unless you've already done so. Thanks.